Have you ever stopped to think about the impact of Trump's policies on farmers, specifically black farmers? Well, you might be surprised to learn that they've been eerily quiet about the whole thing. No viral videos, no impassioned pleas, no desperate cries for help. And there's a reason for that. Well, of late, we have been seeing a lot of videos, a lot of palm color people crying on videos to say they're about to lose their land and whatnot. But no video from a black farmer crying and saying that is going to happen to them. Well, it's because, as our brother has already pointed out, black farmers have historically been excluded from government subsidies. Yes, you heard that right. Excluded, while their palm color counterparts have been receiving benefits and subsidies. Black farmers have been forced to fend for themselves. So when Trump's policies started hurting us, black farmers weren't affected in the same way. They weren't reliant on those subsidies to begin with. In fact, they've been surviving without them for years. Now, palm color farmers are being forced to learn how to survive without those subsidies too. This is just a reminder of the systemic inequalities that have plagued America for centuries, but it's also a testament to the resilience and resourcefulness of black farmers. They've been thriving in the shadows without the support of the government, and now it's time to shine a light on their stories. So with that said, let's take a look at these videos as my brother and other people share their thoughts on this. I will be right back.
Have you noticed that there's one group that has not made any noise or made videos complain about Trump's policies hurting them or their business? Black farmers. How many videos have you seen of black farmers, excuse me, making videos going, oh, I'm going to lose my farm because Trump cut off benefits. I'm going to lose my farm because the Department of Agriculture no longer gives me subsidy. How many videos have you seen of black farmers doing that? That's because black farmers have historically, till this day, been excluded from all government subsidies. So right now, every white farmer is learning how to survive the same way black farmers have been surviving. Like I said, what Trump was going to do was bring every white American down to the black American level. Welcome to...
So I've seen the video of that farmer and a couple of other farmers crashing out over the internet talking about how they may lose their farm. It got me to thinking about the black farmers and how they were discriminated against for decades, since 1920, but they know before then, but they can't prove it, that since 1920, the United States government had been discriminating against them. It was so bad that they had to come together and file a class action lawsuit against the United States Department of Agriculture. And the judges agreed with them and awarded them $2.2 billion because they said the U.S. Department of Agriculture was systemically denying them loans, not providing them subsidies, and other programs that offer assistance that they regularly gave to farmers. And when they were awarded their settlement, guess what they were doing? Crying, saying that was reversed. They need to get some of that money too. But then you're on the internet crying and think somebody's supposed to give you some sympathy.
And during the Great Depression, they figured out that black folk could still afford like luxury cars and all these nice things because black folk wasn't allowed to have no bank accounts at the time. And so what black folk would do, they would hide their money. They would save their money in mattresses and TVs and all kind of stuff. And so when the Great Depression was happening and white folks, all their money was gone. They had nothing. So they was having to sell what they could for as much as they could in order to try and survive, right? Well, they started selling it to black folk because black folk had the money. And they just, the corporation, they couldn't understand at the time. But yeah, man, it's just history repeating itself over again.
I'm seeing all these videos right now where all these farmers are crying about not getting no help right now. You know what? Let me ask you something. When have you ever heard of a black farmer crying about it? Never. And you want to know why? Because they ain't never got no help in the first place. That's right. USDA is literally admitted to discriminating against black farmers. And literally black farmers had to sue, thousands of them, to get what white farmers are handed for free. And fast forward to today, all these farmers crying that they can't get no help. You see, black farmers, they've been struggling. Y'all just now feeling what they've been feeling for over 100 years. Black farmers They used to own over 19 million acres of land. But guess what? Systematic denied loans, shady politicians, and legal loopholes wiped them all out. Yeah. And now they're 1% of America's farmland. When the government finally tried to pass relief for the black folk back in 2021, white farmers sued to block it, claimed it was reverse discrimination. Make that make sense. So, next time you see folks complaining about farm aid, why don't you ask them, where's the help for the black farmers? Ask them why their struggle is just now important when others have been suffering for centuries.
Nice, Fat Man Buddha, please say the Buddha. So all you Pan-Africanists, here you have a man that everyone calls. Then when he gets in office, the first thing he does is says, black people are indigenous to this land. So like I told y'all before, he's kicking everybody off of our land so we can all get our acres in peace. How many of y'all thought I was lying? How many of y'all thought I was wrong? Everything's going according to plan, and y'all are doing great. Minding y'all business, because things are about to turn up. Because now we're finna start getting the damn Asian immigrants out. And then we're gonna move towards the white immigrants. And then we're gonna move towards white citizens. The descendants of slaves. The descendants of Tammany Hall. And then we're gonna get to the Moors. And believe me when I tell you this. When we start kicking the Moors out of this land, all those Moors who can't prove that they're indigenous, all those Moors who sit here and have been robbing you instead of bringing you back into the nationality fold like they should for free. Moors have been committing fraud by accepting a fiat currency to give you nationality. But no one can give you nationality. They can only bring you nationality. So when we start getting rid of these Moors, don't say because they are the last ones to leave. Why are the Moors the last one to leave? Because they were the first ones to bring our enemies here. I just showed you the map, right? And the Moors have always said that they were the Iroquois, right?
Do we all remember how back in 2010, Congress appropriated an additional $1.2 billion in a second round of payouts, but still many did not receive them due to more denials of claims and deadline and processing issues. But in addition, many say there has to be a larger culture shift at the department because farmers do not trust their loan applications will be processed fairly if they can even file. Indeed, an NPR analysis of USDA data found that black farmers receive a disproportionately low share of direct loans given to farmers, leaving them behind in a program that is important to their livelihoods. Now, the department itself has long tried to fix these systemic problems, but many farmers and advocates remain skeptical that its efforts will ultimately benefit those who need it most. Now, the USDA's lending process for the last century is not set up to support non-traditional growers, including the farmers of color who face high rejection and withdrawal rates as a result, said the farm agency administrator of USDA. So it might be you're a black farmer that's operating on heirship property who hasn't had the benefit of a cooperative technical assistance provider right there on the ground with them to help them navigate this. He said of black farmers who have owned land for generations but may not know how to navigate USDA's processes. By virtue of the lack of support structure around them, they are going to come to the application process less prepared. Now, in 2022, the department granted direct loans to only 36% of farmers who identified as black. And according to an NPR analysis of USDA data that looked at how many direct loan applications were accepted, rejected, or withdrawn per each racial group, direct loans are supposed to be among the easiest to get as USDA. They are meant for farmers who can't get credit elsewhere and can be used to get land, farming equipment, or other operational costs needed to keep the business afloat. Now, in contrast, 72% of palm color farmers who applied were approved. Perhaps some of the biggest gaps in the loan demographics can also be seen in the rejection numbers, where 16% of black farmers were rejected, the highest amount. The corresponding figure for palm color farmers was 4%, and 48% of black farmers withdrew their applications, also the highest amount tied with Asian farmers and compared to 24% of palm color identifying applicants. Now, by and large, across the first 2 years of the Biden administration, black and Asian identifying farmers were the least successful in acquiring a direct loan, data shows. And it is not just about direct loans. Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack has long made the point that farmers of color received less than 1% of coronavirus pandemic farming aid, despite making up 5% of all farmers. Now, advocates for farmers of color argued that rejections and withdrawals often happened because the multi-step application process was too cumbersome and confusing. Those whose families have generational experience and long-standing outside resources to navigate the federal bureaucracy sail through. Farmers in Minnesota, for example, may often lease land, but they are not given a written contract that they need to qualify for loans, said Jonathan Hang, Executive Director and co-founder of the Edgemont American Farmers Association. Farmers keep records and file taxes, but not in a way suitable for the Farm Service Agency, USDA's lending branch. And it's all complicated by the lack of bilingual federal employees, documents, and training materials. In some cases, language barriers are a major issue, including for Edgemont American farmers and Hispanic farmers. They can enroll in a farm business management course, but it's all conducted in English, and this particular constituency here does not read or write English fluently or understand, so they can sign up for the farm business course. Pay $2,000 a year just for this course here, and what did they walk out with? Stress, Jonathan said. They walk out without any adequate information to really enhance or fund operations here because it is done in a language that they're not familiar with. Farmers are also often denied for having low or no credit, despite USDA being considered the lender of last resort for producers who cannot get credit elsewhere. The way people are farming is also changing. Urban farms, farms with multiple crops, hemp farms, and others also challenged the loan system, which was originally designed for large one-crop farmers. Now, black farmers who should have gotten relief from Pigford say not all the settlements made it into their hands. And as time passed, interest, delinquent payments, and more stacked up against their businesses. We haven't gotten any relief as far as these lawsuits or debt relief, and that will impact me severely, said Rod Bradshaw, a farmer in Kansas, adding that the rising cost of fuel and production were thinning his margins. As a part of the Inflation Reduction Act, the Democratic-led spending bill, members slipped in a provision that created a $3.1 billion debt relief program for economically distressed borrowers. The department completed automatic payments towards about 11,000 distressed borrowers who were 60 days or more delinquent on direct and guaranteed USDA loans as of September 30th of 2022. USDA data analyzed by NPR shows over 13,000 producers have received a payment on their accounts as of January 30. Now, these payments, however, are to all distressed farmers, including some palm color farmers. They may not include all black farmers. The Rest Neutral program is an alternative to a lawsuit blocked rest targeted program first passed by Congress. The bill did include $2.2 billion to the Department for Farmers, who have specifically faced discrimination in USDA lending programs, and this money was mandated by Congress to be disbursed by third parties or non-governmental organizations. Now, historically, black people have faced significant barriers to accessing funding and government subsidies, and this exclusion has been a major hindrance to their economic progress and development. However, in the context of black farmers, this exclusion has ironically proven to be a blessing in disguise because by being forced to operate without government handouts, black farmers have developed remarkable resilience and resourcefulness. They've learned to manage their farms effectively, relying on their own ingenuity and hard work rather than external support. Now, this self-sufficiency has enabled Black farmers to thrive despite the odds being stacked against them. In contrast, many palm color farmers have become reliant on government subsidies, which has created a culture of dependency. And the current challenges faced by palm color farmers due to Trump's policies serve as a reminder of the importance of self-sufficiency. Black farmers, having been excluded from government support, have inadvertently developed the skills and strategies needed to survive and thrive in uncertain times. They felt they were punishing Black people by excluding them from funds and government subsidies, not knowing that this was helping Black farmers to actually be self-reliant and, sufficient. And with what is happening now, palm color farmers can't do without these subsidies. And that's why we're seeing a lot of videos of them crying that they're about to lose their land. They don't know how to survive without these funds and subsidies. They can't survive without them, and they don't know what to do. And like Black people who have been living this way since. We have finally come to the end of the video, but what do you our viewers have to say? Share your thoughts, your views, your contributions as well in the comment section. Thank you for always watching, and see you in our next video as we bring you another interesting video.